Hi everyone, today we're going to be talking about 50, 200 and so on and so forth. That's the gap in between each time it starts to scan. Now, even though they are used widely on paranormal investigations, they're not fallible. Most of the time, the things that you're actually picking up can easily be explained away. One of the major problems is that they pick up anything that within the foreseen area can be picked up. Amateur radioers, CBers, taxis, anything that's actually transmitting will cause the radio to stop scanning and what they call radio breakthrough to come through on the communication system. Now, one thing that makes me laugh is a lot of people will say that, well, we've been in a venue and we've had foreign voices coming through. Why would foreign voices be coming through? Well, it's a radio scanner, and on this clip I'm going to show you now, again, exactly the same. It's just a radio. The only difference is it's an amateur radio and it's picking up continental stations here in the UK.
Germany, lieber. Italy, Kilo Rock, double Zero, Foxtrot, Germany, lieber. CQZ, over.
After watching that demonstration, the radio that you're using is exactly the same. It's open to wideband interference, and that's exactly what it is when you pick up foreign people. 9 times out of every 10, that's what it's actually doing, picking up an harmonic. Now, I'm not going to go into technical details what harmonics are. That's for another program, or Wikipedia it. It's quite an interesting topic and an interesting read. And another thing that always makes me giggle is when people say, well, we were at this haunted location and there was no homes or houses or factories, anything within a 10-mile radius. Now, those of you that have ever used any radio, those of you that can remember CB many, many moons ago, we all used to go up to the highest location we could find, somewhere that wasn't very well populated. People locally used to go to a place called Mowcop, which was quite high, and you weren't boxed in by buildings, and radio signals do travel even further when there is no reception coming through or interference coming through. A small portable walkie-talkie with a minuscule amount of power sitting in a normal domesticated home, you'll be looking at 200 feet, 300 feet with all the buildings, all the interference. You'd seriously struggle to get any more than 300 feet. If you take it into an open area where there's no inborn interference or less chances of inborn interference, you can get miles and miles. You can get at least a mile on the same power. There's nothing there to stop the signal. And if you can imagine, when you were a child, you used to skim pebbles along a lake. That's basically how radio signals work. Where the pebble hits the water, you get the ripple effect. That would be quite loud, and then the ripples coming from the centre get quieter and quieter and quieter as the distance gets on. So that's why sometimes voices come through loud and voices come through quiet, because they've travelled a further distance. Again, that explains why sometimes that voices come through different audio lengths, different frequencies, call it what you will. But there's a lot of false positives with spirit boxes, and if you look into the way that the spirit box actually works, anything can actually interfere with the signal. Now, I can't explain, and it's happened to us. You can just say to a spirit box, "What is your name?" and instantly you'll get back. Is that a coincidence? I wouldn't like to say. I personally don't see how a spirit without a radio can communicate on a frequency. Now, the people that build these spirit boxes say that their spirits are able to manipulate frequencies and construct words and so on and so forth. When you've got a technically background in radio, I don't know where they get this information from, but I'd like to see someone prove to me that they can actually transmit through thought patterns without a transmitter. I'm yet waiting to see that technology. As far as I know, it doesn't exist.
Could you say one of our names, please?
It's just a money-making racket. They're an interesting toy to play with. They can give you some hours of entertainment, but for credibility, I wouldn't waste any money on one. If you can get hold of one cheap, go for it. But personally, I wouldn't waste your money. It's something that every paranormal investigation team ends up buying eventually anyway. But are they worth the money? No. With a bit of science and a bit of common knowledge and a bit of common sense, most of the replies that you're getting through the radio could be explained away. Now, that's not saying spirits aren't communicating, but the idea is to get definitive proof. You need to find evidence that can't be manipulated in any way, shape or form by any outside interference. And unfortunately, it's a radio receiving device which is wide open to abuse from any spectrum. So take what you get from your spirit boxes, Frank's boxes, ghost boxes with a pinch of salt, because you're probably only fooling yourself. Time after time, I have people getting excited and they ask 15 questions, and the first question they ask was name. They get 15 random results, and then after the 16th result they get Thomas, and they think that's a good hit. You've had 15 misses and one good hit. No, what you're doing is making the questions fit the answers. I hope that's been informative on what spirit boxes are. They're just a fun item. They're something that people can use on an investigation, and we do use them on a regular basis. But we don't take what we get through the box that serious. I think too many people are looking narrow-mindedly and believing everything that comes out of the spirit box. One tip: always record your spirit box sessions on a separate dictaphone or recording device, because sometimes you can actually hear on the playback at a later date stuff that you didn't actually pick up on the evening. So it's always worth doing that recording, and you've also got a recording other than what's on your camcorder, something that's clean that you can play back, listening to it through headphones, which is far more beneficial than listening it through any sound system. And enjoy the hobby. I'm not here to ridicule spirit boxes, being the owner of far too many to mention, but I think we've done enough research to know that 99% of the time they give false positives. Happy hunting, everybody, and until the next time, take care. Bye bye.